I'm going to be honest, I used to wake up dreading the amount of boring work I had to do every day in my agency. Even when I was making like 25, 30 grand a month, I'd find myself going to bed at night just thinking, here we go again, and just not really being happy about having to wake up and work a full day the day following. I remember telling myself or thinking to myself like, oh, 45 minutes till work, it's 11:45 p.m., go to sleep, wake up 45 minutes in the morning, and then I'm back to work, right? A lot of what I do is pretty boring. I sit at a computer all day, and some people say to me like, oh, I don't know how you could do that. I couldn't sit at a computer all day. Or they ask me how I managed to get so much work done per day or work so many hours per day without just completely going insane mentally. And there are two main things that I've found work best for me in order to get this done. And what I mean by getting this done is working 13, 14 hours per day consistently all throughout the week, with the exception of Fridays because I go and hang out with my girlfriend on the weekend. But doing, again, pretty boring stuff the entire time. Stuff I have to do, not stuff I want to do. So I'll tell you a quick story to explain what I mean, but also how I got around this whole issue. When I used to have this attitude like I had before of, one more waking hour till work, here we go again, I found the days where they felt way longer and way more boring. I'd be pretty disappointed that I had to do certain things. I'd be reluctant to do a lot of tasks as well. And my overall satisfaction in business, but also in life because of how much work I was spending on the business, was pretty low. And no matter how important these tasks were, like setting appointments or taking sales calls, none of it really seemed to, excite me or keep me going. It really just bogged me down. So mental framework number 1 is future me will thank me later. Or another way of looking at this is a better tomorrow at the cost of today. Now, this is when things are hard, right? This isn't just when things are good and easy and you're excited. It's easy to work when things are easy. I'm talking about when things are hard. You're gonna have rough days, you're gonna have tough days, you're gonna feel like you don't really feel like doing whatever you're supposed to do. And sometimes you just honestly feel like you don't even know why you started what you begin with in the first place. So on these days, what I do is I look back at regrets of mine, things I didn't do in the past or didn't start earlier. A very common regret of mine is having not started what I've done earlier. And so this drove me to do things that my future self would thank my current self for a million times over, right? The concept of planting seeds. If you can look at it as, from this perspective of you're planting seeds and one day it will pay off, it will actually pay off. It just sucks for a while. And that's kind of the hard truth. But at the same time, if you have this mental perspective that, future me will thank me later, and that you're really, gonna have a better tomorrow at the cost of today, it makes things a lot easier. Right? You just accept the fact that this is how it is. There's not really too much that you can do. And you're doing a really, really good thing that 95+% of people just can't be bothered to do in the first place. So that sets you way apart of everybody else. And in reality, when you think about it, it's actually really simple to be successful long term because all you have to do is stick it out through these tougher times. So fall in love with planting seeds. Change your perspective from having to do work to planting seeds, and things will get a lot easier for you. They'll be, when you have your hard days, you'll be able to push through and go, you know what, I'm gonna thank myself later. I'm gonna thank myself later. Because in a way, your bad days define you. If you quit and stop working on a bad day, compared to pushing through and making it through, that also builds confidence in yourself. So doing all these difficult things and they, for a longer period of time, they compound in the most absurd way possible that I didn't understand when I was first starting out. I believed it, I didn't fully trust it. So it's the whole trust the process thing, but it's actually very true. So fall in love with and focus on planting seeds. The more seeds you plant, the more you can harvest in the future. Now this leads me to mental framework number 2, which is that there's nothing you can do. And it's not the nothing you can do that I brought up before where you kind of just have to whatever. It's giving yourself no other option than to work. And so here's what I mean. If you go into each day and each week with the mindset that there's nothing else I'm going to do except for get this work done at a bare minimum, then you accept it. And when you can accept that fact, which, let's be real, the vast majority of people cannot accept the fact that they're going to go in, they're going to work all day long, and that's that. If you can accept that fact and hold yourself to that and be honest with yourself and say, look, I'm just going to be working all day. To me at this point, I start work at 10 a.m., 9:45, I take a lunch break, I take a dinner break at 6, I go back to work, I work till 11. And I wake up every day. Some days I might not be feeling it, but I know at the beginning of the day, if I'm ever not feeling like working, I remind myself that, well, there's nothing you can do. Like, you're working till 11, and that's just that. So, figure it out. Like, man up. Now, one easier way around this, if you're having trouble, pushing yourself to work, is setting up an accountability partner like I talked about. You both bet on the tasks you do each day. Most people will, listen to me say that and then not do it. If you can actually do it, then you're going to be way more on track to succeed. There's a big difference between wanting to do something or hearing something and going, oh, that's a good idea, and actually doing it. Like, just do it. And sometimes you just have to man up, take it to the chin, and work. And if you can accept that, then it becomes a lot easier to just do the work consistently. And the more you complain, the worse it's going to get. Now, another thing I started doing was working more, which meant less time on my phone, which meant less artificial dopamine. Artificial dopamine gives you this, fake high that you're doing something good, which of course all these, tech companies, including YouTube and Google, right, are using to keep you stuck on their platform so that they can make ad dollars. That's all it is. Like, you're their way of making money. You're their product. So the less you're on your phone, the less you're doing things you shouldn't be doing, any of your vices, the less of those that you do, the easier it's going to be for you to do the work, because you get natural dopamine, and it's just way easier to keep doing it on an ongoing basis no matter what. So number 1, plant seeds. Future me will thank me later. Better tomorrow at the cost of today. Number 2, there's nothing you can do, just work.